What's up, B-Gents family? Welcome back to another informative session. In today's video, we'll be taking a look at some advantages and disadvantages of purchasing versus renting a house in Jamaica. Now guys, I'm going to say something that you may not believe, but you tend to seem more trustworthy when you own a house. Yes, you do. Owning a house makes you become marketable and trustworthy. Why is this, you may ask? Because it can be used as collateral, which makes it easier to get loans and even more likely to attain a visa. I mean, who's going to borrow money or get a visa and run away leaving their house, right? Not like you can put it in your carry-on and carry it on. A property is a huge asset, and as such, it allows you a sense of trust and responsibility from institutions and entities. There are a number of advantages when purchasing a house. After you spend your hard-earned money on making that purchase, one of the biggest advantages is you can fix it to your liking. No one can tell you how to decorate, add, or even subtract what's there. Owning a house is like being an entrepreneur. You're your own boss. It's yours. Build a mansion in the sky if you want. The next advantage may not come as a surprise to us. We've mentioned this a lot of times. Invest for your interests. If nothing more, a house is an invaluable investment. Its value either holds steady or rise, and trust us, it is a great source of income. Whether to buy and sell or even renting, after you're finished paying your mortgage, it's a future asset. Go check out our video on 5 main reasons to invest in real estate in Jamaica. Did you guys listen to the last video about why 150 Jamaican dollars can only get you $1 US? Well, it's a good idea for you to listen to that because our next advantage of owning a house has to do with inflation. Have you ever wondered why our foreparents who bought houses in their early years are paying petty cash for their mortgage now? Wonder why? Inflation. Mortgages are fixed. The set amount of money you pay doesn't rise. The value of that money, however, decreases, and automatically throughout the years, your salary will increase. Inflation in this instance is a godsend for long-time mortgage payers, especially in Jamaica. No, as I said in the beginning, for every advantage, there lies a disadvantage in the shadows. So, here are some disadvantages you may face when you're purchasing a house in Jamaica. Taking out a mortgage is like the equivalent to you going to court and paying nothing down in 36 months. Though it seems enticing, you'll pay twice as much, possibly even 3 times as much. But this is because of the extended period of time you'll be granted to complete your full payment. They don't just give you 20 to 30 years to pay off a mortgage because they're thinking about your financial capabilities. They also want to fatten their pockets in the long haul. Most financial institutions' interest lies in the interest. Though the value of the money would gradually become less because of natural inflation as stated earlier, you're not limited to that 30-year bond. You can pay it off earlier to decrease the interest attained on the property. Did you guys hear me say the disadvantages lie within the shadows? There are hidden costs when you attempt to purchase a home. If you're new to the game and not familiar with anyone who purchased a home before, these costs will sure give you a sneak attack. Like every investment, you have hidden costs. You'll have costs to attend to such as a deposit, evaluation, survey ID report, closing costs, lawyer fees, etc., etc., etc. These can be burdensome at times, but in order to attain something worthwhile, these things have to come in play. As our grandmothers would say, you want good, your nose have to run. Now that you've heard what advantages and disadvantages awaits you for your home purchase, let's take a look at renting. First and foremost, renting gives you the ability to be itinerant, meaning you don't have to be in a fixed place for an extended period of time. You can move if you want to. Renting gives you flexibility. Not saying that you can't move from a house you've purchased and not go there again, but this is one of the main advantages of renting a property. If there should be any problems, you can easily move out without thinking of going through the process of selling your house. If you get to work somewhere else, you can move. If you want a new scenery, yep, you guessed it, you can move. Though you'll experience the monthly cost of rent, you won't have to experience the cost of renovations. And this is our second advantage of renting as opposed to owning a home. It's not your job to maintain the house, it's the landlord's. Though you shouldn't wreck it, it's not your job to fix it. As it relates to paint job and fixing leaks, etc., you wouldn't foot that bill, and this may give you a sense of relief. Depending on where you're renting, you don't need to have certain documentations. Whereas you need certain documents to purchase a house, this isn't the case when renting. The only requirement of you is to have a source of income to pay the landlord. A first and last month's deposit will generally do. Another advantage is that rent is more than likely less expensive than a mortgage, depending on the area you decide to take up residence, that is. Let's take a look at the disadvantages of renting. Though we stated earlier that not adjusting the property is an advantage of renting, it can also be a disadvantage. If the property just isn't your style, then you have to live with it. Unless you get special approval from the landlord. It's not your house, so you don't have a say in how it should look. It is only the discretion of the landlord. From the basic amenities are there and it's functional, then the landlord has no obligation to suit your needs on other matters like lawn mowing, fresh painting, etc. If you don't know about inflation or the law of supply and demand, I urge you to go and watch our video on why $1 is worth an excess of 150 Jamaican dollars. Inflation is a killer as it relates to renting. Rent can be increased because the demand of houses and the amount of money to maintain the house gets more and higher. You can't control this as it isn't a constant and is subject to change. One of the most daunting aspects of paying rent is not paying your rent. Can you imagine, during these economically hard times you've defaulted payment on your rent for months? It's possible, but you can get evicted. A landlord may not care for your excuses. He may only care for his money, and getting evicted is no joke. Although there's a time frame before doing this, a landlord would typically give you a month notice before eviction. Once that notice is served, there's nothing you can do about it. You have no control of staying there permanently. The hassle to move to somewhere else can be a great disadvantage to an individual, especially at such a notice and such a time. Well guys, that's it for our video today. So guys, now that you're aware of some of the advantages and disadvantages of both purchasing or renting a home, let us know in the comments, what would be the most suitable choice for you? What would you prefer? Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe, and let us know if you found this information informative. Thank you for joining us, and remember, through knowledge, hard work, and resilience. See you next time.